these are acts that are forbidden in the Bible when it comes to matters of sexuality. I'll work through them quickly. Fornication. This is sex before marriage. For all of you who are single, this is you. This is dating, relating, and fornicating. This is called Old Town. Old Town is the Greek word for fornication. It's the world that we live in. Hey, you knew this was going to happen. Don't get so sour so quick. We've only got a few hours together, and make the most of it. Now, fornication is what I was doing with Grace when we started dating. I was fornicating. I was sleeping with someone I was not married to. Okay, it's a sin. And if you're here and you're dating, and you're sleeping together and or you're living together, you're fornicating. So what we're going to do, we're just going to give you a minute to break up, and then I'll look at the next one. Oh, seriously, you got a minute. This doesn't take long. All right, now that we got that cleaned up. Number 2 is adultery. Adultery is where you're married, but you're sleeping with someone else. True or false, that's a problem. It's a problem, okay? God forbids it. Well, what if we have an open marriage, and what if we agree, and what if we're swingers? You're still adulterers. You're just adulterers that are co-conspirators. Number 3, polygamy. This is where you're with more than one person. Okay? And this is where the trend is going regarding bisexuality. Well, if I love a man and I love a woman, why can't we be polygamous? This would also include polyandry, which is one woman with multiple men. Historically, there's no civilization that demonstrates that because men would kill each other. That's just how it works. Everything I say is offensive and true. Number 4, rape. Okay, and rape is forcibly imposing yourself upon another human being. It's an act of aggression. It's an act of oppression. Rape. Incest. This is with a close family member. This is growing in prevalence. Even whole genres of pornography are now promoting this. Homosexuality, which we will deal with in detail in just a moment. That's 2 people who are of the same sex and should be of the same gender. This includes bestiality, human being and an animal life having some sort of sexual connection or contact is forbidden according to the Bible. This would include prostitution, where you are paying someone for sexual services. This would include sexual immorality, a Greek word in the New Testament used repeatedly called porneia. Does that sound familiar? We get our word pornography or pornographic from it. It's an open category of sexual sin that can include a number of other sexual sins. So this would include pornography and also your thought life. Jesus said that we don't just commit adultery with our hands, we also commit adultery with our heart. Okay? And if you're reading the list up until this point, you're like, I haven't done that, haven't done that, haven't done that, haven't done that. Let's just say we've all done 9. Can we just be honest? This is where Job 31:1, he says, I made a covenant with my eyes not to look upon people lustfully. Looking with your eyes lustfully, that constitutes porneia. It may not be necessarily even what you do with your hands. It's what you do with your eyes and what you do with your heart. And this also includes pagan sexual activity. Oftentimes, when there is pagan religion and spirituality, there is also pagan sexual activity. So in Exodus 32, they worship the golden calf, and they have lots of sexual relations together. It talks about, in the New Testament, there are temples where people go, and part of the worship act is sex. So any sex that is done in conjunction with another spirit being or God is ultimately forbidden by the God who made us and wants us to be filled with his spirit. My simple point in sharing this list before we get into the specifics of Romans chapter 1, we're all guilty, just in different ways. We're all guilty, just in different ways. And what I want us to say is that we all need a Savior and that we all are a sinner. And as we look at particular sexual acts and misconduct and disobedience and rebellion, I want us not to use the Bible first and foremost as binoculars to see what all the other people have done wrong, but first as a mirror to consider what we have done wrong. Before we judge others, we should judge ourselves. Before we examine others, we should examine ourselves. And so within this, I would tell you that based upon this list, just like the rest of you, I'm guilty. I mean, I was sexually active as a brand new Christian and then stopped once I understood what the Bible said and accepted God's authority over all of my life. And let's just say we've all been guilty of number 9, and some of you have more than 1 or 2. Some of you, this list is fairly convicting. Thanks for joining me. My name is Pastor Mark. I've been teaching the Bible for more than 3 decades and head on constant collisions with woke culture. And I would love to get you more Bible teaching. 2 things you can do. Go ahead and watch the sermon in total and also subscribe to the channel. And I'll just keep sending you Bible teaching and we'll have a lot more fun together.